Holly?
Harlan Guthrie is doing a spooky stream. Join him, chill out, and maybe you'll have a scream.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is time for another spooky stream. Hello, and welcome to the spooky stream. The time of the night we get together and hang out and chat and play spooky games, and this one is much needed on my end. Yesterday I partook in a little challenge called the Hot Ones Challenge, where I ate very many hot wings, and it hurt me very much in places I do not want to describe. And so today I took it easy, and I thought it would be a great way to end the night for a little bit of spookiness, something that we could do together as a family of friends. I see we have Zia here with us tonight, and Bjorn. Tim might be popping by, and that's okay. This is good. This is the core. Bjorn has helped me through many, many difficult and strenuous situations over my years working with him. If this game launches, Jesus. Bjorn and I played almost the entirety of Divinity Original Sin together. Oh, Steam's not launching. Oh, I didn't troubleshoot this. Anything? Behind the scenes. Let's just end all these and start them up again, shall we? Steam was being a very naughty boy. And apparently still is-ish. There we go. We'll just cut this out. I don't care about you. Battle burn. And now we are almost back on track. There we are! Welcome to the spooky stream! My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here by myself tonight, locked in a dark, scary room. The last bit of daylight seeping through my window, making me aware that there is a world beyond my door. Zia, Bjorn, Mark, hanging out with me tonight. I'm excited. If you're in the YouTube chat, come on over to the Discord chat. The link is in the description of this video, and that's where all the cool people are hanging out. This game we're playing tonight is a little game called Conarium. Conarium. It's a game I know nothing about. I wanted to do a spooky stream tonight because, again, I felt like playing a little bit and I felt like hanging out. And I literally went on Steam and I searched for horror games, and this was one of the last horror games that came out within the last month or two. And I thought, hey, let's check it out. Had good reviews. So, I don't know much about it. So, you know, we're gonna kind of experiment with it together. A few people were saying that it's not traditionally like a horror game. Some people were just saying that the vibe is sort of creepy. And I'm really okay with that because, to me, I would take creepy over scary any day of the week. You know, because scary, it's just people imply jump scares and shit like that. It's like, on your face. No, not today. Today we're gonna go creepy. We're gonna have this one seep into the back of our minds. Like a good Lovecraft story, might I add. And hopefully, it will be one that stays with us. Gabe, Rin, Zia, Bjorn, Old School Online, John. Welcome, everybody. I was kind of getting excited with the idea that just Zia and Bjorn and I were going to be hanging out tonight. As I said at the beginning, which I might cut out depending on what happens, Bjorn and I went through like all of Divinity Original Sin together. We're close. We're gaming buddies. He helped me more times than I can count with solving that game, which is embarrassingly difficult. So yeah, we did the Hot Ones challenge last night. It was tough, sort of. 1 to 7 is not that bad, to be honest. It was 8, 9, and 10 that really, 9 and 10 specifically, it jumped from like a 3 out of 10 on the hot scale to a 9 out of 10 on Wing 9, coincidentally. So I think that's how they designed it. So, but no, well, I'm not gonna say who made it to the end. I'm going to let you guys wait and see on November 4th when I finish editing the like hour plus of footage that we have taken from 3 different camera sources and put it in a respectable format. April 2, yeah, I'm sure April is with Rin and John and April's wife, or husband, sorry. Harlan, Zia, and me would make too sexy of a threesome for the universe to contain, it would seem. It's true. Just the 3 of us chatting together and playing spooky games. I don't think the video would fall apart. It would be perfect. Hey Mark, I saw you asked me earlier how I'm doing tonight. I'm doing pretty damn good, my friend. It forces people to join, so it's not as to implode. Perfect. All right. Conarium, I think. Conarium. Conarium. I don't know anything about this. I'm gonna do the unfun way and look at these settings real quick just to make sure everything is good. You guys can obviously see it. Sound, yeah, we'll do that. Blah, blah, blah. Subtitles on, I know you guys like them. Silent mode on. I don't know what that is, but let's do it, because I'm assuming maybe someone will be talking a lot, and I don't like a chatty Cathy of a protagonist, like in that terrible Perception game that we started off. Might need to turn down the sound a wee bit. Perfect. I'm assuming you mean my microphone? Or do you mean the audio? I will turn both down momentarily. There. Bjorn, just clarify for me what you mean, if you mean the game or my talking. I'm assuming my talking, because I can see I'm jumping up a little bit. Alright, well, I'm excited. I want to get into this. I don't know anything about this, so let's just dive in. And together we will experience however you pronounce this game. Conarium. Oh, game audio. Okay, if it peaks, just let me know. I turned it down a bit anyway. And hi, April. Get her set up on Discord. Tape the keyboard to her fingers. Oh, this is spooky. A black screen. Anybody else drinking coffee? What's everybody drinking? Let's go around the table and everybody say what they're drinking. April's husband, Eric, is starting it. Is going to speed run it, he says. What, this game? He's starting this game while I'm playing it?
All life is only a set of pictures in the brain, among which there is no difference betwixt those born of real things and those born of inward dreamings.
H.P. Lovecraft. Pop quiz. Does anyone know what H.P. in H.P. Lovecraft stands for? I do. First person to get it right will get something. Oh. Hello. This is a funky world. Little jellyfishes. Oh, jellyfish, how you swim.
harbor ourselves on the safest shores, for there are things that cannot be undone.
Terrifying. I mean, oh no, terrifying. So, are April's husband, are we like competing? Who can finish it faster? Or who can experience it better? Mark, well done. Howard Phillip, correct.
Oh, my head. The pain. It is unbearable.
Is it unbearable?
At last. The pain is subsiding. I thought my head was about to explode.
Alright. Let's figure out something real quick, because this is not going to work for me. Hey, resolution scale, blah, 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 blah. Shit. Alright, we'll just make it work. It's got that terrible FOV. Really close up field of view. Alright, so we've woken up in our little apartment, I see. Creepy little orb in the center of it. So I'm going into a bridge tonight, apparently. For no reason other than apparently our protagonist is. I found Dr. Wine's medical records, #1. Oh my god, there is so much reading here. Observation notes of the 4th initiation session. All the participants consumed the diverse mixture 5 minutes ago, and they have entered some kind of altered state of consciousness. All of them are now vaguely mumbling in their sleep, like they are chanting something. But the sounds are not conscious. They seem restless. I detect movements in their limbs, and always I wonder if it is because of something they are actually seeing beyond. As always, the device is humming and glowing, but this time the atmosphere was different to the previous sessions. Whatever the reason might be, it feels almost like a fantastic device. Okay, so it seems like we were one of these test subjects that was stuck up to this. 1 of 4. What's squeaking? I cannot see a goddamn thing. Antediluvian shamanism. Right. Let's go.
It's too dark. To be safe, I better find a light source.
Is that a light?
It's too dark. To be safe, I better find a light source.
Alright, well, I'll take this flashlight. Can I not? I found a torch. Oh, look at the cute doggy. Hello, dog. Eric's dog is going to try to beat it before me as well. Great. So now it's just a race to the finish. Sahiti plant of nightshade and beyond. Upatau 2. Expedition handbook. Yes, yes. Alright, let's get out of here. Where are we? So we were in a sort of a thing. Hey Harlan, what's the prize since I got HP Lovecraft? You get the prize of my respect momentarily. For this moment, you have my undivided respect, my friend. So well done. Auxiliary power needs to be enabled manually from outside. Okay. Maybe we should read that document again. How do we access that? It was somewhere. I saw it, and I cannot access it again, so... Weather notice. Expected snowstorm. A strong snowstorm is expected to hit the ship. Ah, we're on a ship. Doesn't look like a cruise ship. Stop those bloody sessions. Health notice. Journal has been updated. Did we figure out how to get to my journal yet? Did I figure out how to get to my journal? J. Okay, let's go back. I actually do want to read this now. So it's 1949. Participants consume the mixture. We enter some kind of altered state of consciousness. We're vaguely mumbling. As always, the device is humming and glowing, but the atmosphere is different. It sounds to me like the intensity of the subject's mumbling is much stronger now. Colors and shades are dancing on the walls with rhythmic ins and outs of the device. I can hear the wind howling outside. Maybe a snowstorm is approaching or something even worse. Exactly 5 minutes and 3 seconds have passed now. They have drifted beyond my area of expertise and guidance. I cannot do anything further for them except for wish their safe return. I'd better find a crew member. I woke up from a series of blurry nightmares, isolated inside these somewhat foreign walls. In one of my pockets I found an empty notebook in which I'm writing my notes. I can't remember anything other than there should have been others here with me. The names Dr. Faust and Dr. DeWitt are lingering in my mind now. Additionally, trying to delve deeper into thoughts gives me sharp pains in my already throbbing head. I'd better find a crew member to find out what's going on here as soon as possible. Alright, a mystery, my friends. Let's do this. We're in it. The game doesn't look terrible, so let's give this our all, shall we? So we were hooked up to this device, and we've been in some sort of stupor. For how long, we do not know. Radio room is locked.
Looks like we're having a power problem right now.
Weather noticed, snowstorms, blah blah blah. Ships, nautical, a note. Familiar visits the lower chambers once more in the form of a black cat. Its spectral image echoes throughout the 7 rooms. What sin called it from this hollow lumen grows like? What is that? Hey Mike, hey Wolf and Lark, haven't seen you on this Discord yet. Welcome, buddy. And hey Jatoro. And April Janice has made an account. Finally, getting with the program. The subjects do sound like they had an acid trip. And why do I have a hand? Oh, I pressed spacebar. This strange device was already on my left arm when I came around inside the meeting room of the Antarctic base. It comes as no surprise that I don't remember anything about it. And we have the flashlight. Okay. Spectrometrical cat. Oh, I'm going in circles. Right. Creepy abandoned boat. Don't die, Harlan, or Cthulhu will claim my soul. You know what? I'm alright with that. If I gotta go the way of Cthulhu, I'd rather go with him. Cutscene. Its loading times are a bit long. Okay. Jesus. We were gonna get lost so fast. Let me turn down the aim a bit. Oh shit, I didn't save it, did I? There we go. If the glove doesn't fit, you must acquit. This does not look like a ship. This is a strange question. If you were to choose which deity in the Cthulhu mythos, but who would you pick? Like, to die from? I don't know the mythos that well, to be honest.
It's not safe to go further away from the expedition base in this weather. It's not safe to go further away from the expedition base.
Don't go that way, it's the wrong way. I don't know the mythos that well, but the ones I do know, I would probably go Nahalthotep, or Shub-Niggurath, because they're the two I know by name. Oh my god. A horror game in the snow reminds me of The Thing. Oh, The Thing would be a great horror game. So Harlan, how's it been? It's been pretty good, man. Jackson, right? It's Jackson, isn't it? How have you been? Long time no talk. That's a useless platform. You were just thinking that. Don't pet any dogs that show up. Yeah. Especially if it comes with a few Russian guys trying to fire at it. The Thing was actually a video game. I did not know that. I wonder if it's any good. We should play it. We were trying to reset the power, right? That's why we're here. Come on. There we go. Flare? Nope. That was the generator.
This hose was tampered with.
Ooh. The hose was tampered with. Why is my hand out? Oh, okay. Maybe it is a Thing type situation where someone like, I'll take this gas. Someone like cut the generator and turned off power because there was an evil. I'm just gonna start collecting shit. I don't really know what I need. Maybe I can tape the hose back together? Easy. I've had a lot going on my plate. I'm trying to get back into the community. Well, hey man, no pressure, you know? If you got stuff on your plate, you do you. But if you're coming back, you're always welcome. There you go, generator back up. I'm running. Easiest game I've ever played. Kind of have to see you with my shirt, though. People... Oh, you think of getting tattoo? A brood group tattoo. Sounds like... It sounds like Lauren wants to get one, too. Are we all gonna get a tattoo? Together? That matches? A broodling tattoo? What would it be? If you had to get one tattoo to signify the stream... Which is... I don't know why you'd want to do that. Because that's a pretty permanent commitment. And it's not the logo, obviously, because the logo is sort of an easy answer. What would you pick? Oh, fuck. This shit. This wasn't here before, wasn't it? I'm like 90% sure there were boxes and shit covering this area. Let's see if these can be opened. Okay, that can be opened. Infirmary. I cannot see shit. Oh, right. I agree. By signing this document, you will agree to the terms written below. False statements made, blah, 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 blah. I hereby declare that I consent to perform the daily duties of my best ability. Okay. Dr. DeWitt. Can I open it? No. Can I take anything? Is there any marijuana here? I wouldn't mind getting a bit high. Make me feel less freaked out. Or more freaked out. Okay, so second page. All the members awakened without any problem. Except for Frank Gilman. All of a sudden his heart ceased beating at around 1:45 a.m. He was extremely cold, and there was no detectable pulse. While I was preparing to perform cardiac compression, he momentarily opened his eyes. I am unsure how much time passed since his heart failed to beat, but it can't have been more than 5 minutes. And then came the event that shook us all. The cause was that the very words Frank uttered directly to Dr. Faust right after he awoken. I don't know how to explain it because his voice was muffled and almost indiscernible, but I am convinced that the voice I heard did not belong to Frank. As a medical doctor, I can say that this is not completely impossible for someone in his condition, but there was something wrong with what I heard. It was a sound that no human vocal cord could produce. Interesting. So we were put under, and we brought something back with us. I like that. You'd get Chris's face? My face or Chris's face? Do I have Invictus for sale somewhere? Yeah, on the Zazzle, zazzle.ca. Invictus shop, ye old Invictus shop. You can buy stickers and whatever the heck you want. As well as there's now a Team Grey shirt there. So if you guys want to support Joe, instead of, you know, me, your old friend Harlan, you can always buy a Grey shirt. Although I still don't think we have orange for David, but, you know, David doesn't mind. Hey, Mark. So the character signed up for an experimental drug test, went into a coma because of it, and barely woke up. That's what it sounds like. But it also sounds to me like other patients woke up and died, or brought something back with them. And because this is Lovecraftian, and because of the, you know, the mythos and sort of the dreamlands and such, what I'm guessing is exactly that. We were part of an experiment to bridge the gap between our world and their world. And while it was successful, a few of them brought something back with them when they woke up. I think I woke up after everybody else, so whatever they might have brought back has since been existent. Oh shit. I just started clicking stuff. Fly your Invictus Pride on the van? You should. Gotta admit that Team Grey is the cutest member. What? That's not fair. I am super cute. As is Justin. Sort of Chris. You know... Michael's the cutest member. Let's be honest here, guys. Have you seen his beautiful blue eyes? Well, in the story, they were transported to an alien planet. Went there in the Dreamlands. Can't remember exactly. So this is based on a specific story. So, well, there we go. But the aliens were the nice ones with 3 heads. I think I probably missed a huge chunk. But this is how we do things. Oh, fuck. What's that guy? He didn't look spooky. He looked concerned. Let's go check on him.
Hello, Mr. I woke up and, I don't know where I am.
Link elevator has been set up. It can reach both the tower and bottom levels down below the base now. Okay. How do I work it?
Looks like I need something to get this elevator to work.
Oh, fair enough. Harlan and Chris and Mycl are my top 3 favorites. Ooh. I was typing that as you said it, Harlan. Mycl is total baby. Yeah, that's right. Or bay. See? See? Mycl. Mr. Cutie Pants. Gloss toppers. Glosso. No. Glossopteris. Oh, yeah. The Glossopteris tree. Famous for its glossy leaves. A lot of Antarctic expedition stuff. Inspired by At the Mountains of Madness. I see. Okay. Well, I never read that. So, at least I get to go into this blind. And Bjorn, now you can solve it when we get stuck on something.
Need a phonograph cylinder.
We get lost. Clicky, clicky. This place is swanky. It's sort of got a Bioshock-esque feel to it. Okay, so we need a cylinder, we need a way to activate that elevator. And I think I probably need to go back upstairs because I came down here way too early. Sort of went off the beaten path. Yeah, we gotta go back up. Let's do it! I'm desperately trying to remember how the story went. Don't expect too much. That's fine. Look, we're all figuring this out together. Half the fun is not knowing what the fuck we're doing. As long as I'm not wasting time. That's always the worst. And I do tend to do that sometimes. Because I'm human, guys. Because I'm human. So what's the story, Morning Glories? What's everybody up to today? How were your days? Did you do anything exciting or fun or interesting or sexy? Or sexy, fun, and interesting and exciting? And all of the above? We don't even know our name, do we? Oh, what the fuck is that? Ah, spaghetti. Spaghettos. It's the director's kid. I could probably find my copy of the short story collection if we need clarification. Harlan, you're human. I am. Mark got lots of rest. That's good. Mark had a great day. The other Mark had a great day. Went out to eat with your dad. And then you watched Demolition Man. Nothing wrong with that. We'll read that after. Bjorn had a quiet Saturday. Got into Darkest Dungeon. Darkest Dungeon is a very difficult and punishing game. It does not take it easy on you. Which is good, I guess. Sketchbook. Oh, what is this? One of the composite sculptures we've come across during our initial field trips. It has an open third eye on its forehead as well as inside its hand, which I think indicates some kind of state of knowing, because allusions to knowledge and elder things recur all the time in almost every bas-relief we have discovered so far. All this leads me to believe that these creatures inhabiting those halls have acquired some kind of knowledge from the elder things, fabled creatures of primal myths. Several other examples of the composite sculptures, ranging from humanoid to reptilian in shape, they were mostly damaged and generally in a really bad shape. The lost parts were completed by the artist's imagination. The abundance of five-pointed shapes stealing the design of the structures we've come across cannot be overlooked. Ooh, grotesque masonry caused an uproar. So there must be something... Ooh, a trophy. Must be something that we have actually come to in the woods on expedition, like an actual man-made building that's connected the outer world and the inner world. Interesting. Oh, There were names in the lockers. Yeah, I didn't really see them. Zia stayed at home today. Have to go find a dress or something nice for my brother's wedding. Oh, congrats to you, brother. Read Numenera, played 7 Days to Die, and Periods. And you had your period. Oh, Periods of Sleep. Never mind. Took my girls to get their shots. Nice. Made a tattoo appointment. Oh, I was just going to say, Mike, I didn't know you had a daughter. And then I pretty positive you're talking about your dogs. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just totally thought you meant kids. And if you have kids, then that's fine too. I was wrong. I apologize. I made a tattoo appointment. April, I want to hear all about what your tattoo is going to be. Describe it to us. Send pictures. I want to hear it. Tattoos are badass. Victoria says I gave her an ulcer. Only took 21 years of marriage. She's in recovery. My brother and Pop are terrorizing my aunts on Facebook about crazy hairstyles that they want to wear at the wedding. Hey man, they can wear what they want at the wedding. Well, actually, it's your brother's wedding, so no. I guess he gets final say. Depends on how crazy it is, I guess. A hard game indeed. Mycl died, sadly, as did Dr. Dex Dalton, but the rest of the Invictus characters are still alive. What was this? The Strange? Well, technically... Oh. The Strange. Did Mycl die in The Strange? I don't know. Private rooms. Liberty spikes and mohawks and animals shaved into their heads. Oh, that's... Well, sounds cool. Oh, walk through the door. And Harlan, don't scare me again with an evil look. I don't know what you're talking about. But sure. Hidden plants of great antiquity. That looks like that could control the elevator. Perhaps. A handle. Oh. How do you... God. Fuck. Getting an evil eye tattoo. Link it, April. I want to see it. How well is everyone recovering from the challenge last night? Ring of Fire and all. Man. I gotta say, I got up at like 3 in the morning because I used the bathroom and it was not pleasant. But after that, I haven't actually been too bad. Am I trying to get this thing flat or maybe flat? I hate things like this. So this is obviously reducing the space. Oh boy, that's the haircut? Jesus. We were totally printing the poem you wrote earlier and hanging it in the bathroom. I think Aisha said she was too. Good. That'd be awesome. You should like do it in frilly font too. Make it look all nice and, and fancy for such a terrible poem. No face tattoos. With all the travel between dimensions in The Strange, it's entirely possible that any dead character could come back. You bet. You bet, buddy. Alright, I don't know how the fuck this thing works. And I'm not really have the patience for it right now. So we'll come back to that, I guess. I'm not gonna sit there and fiddle with that for 2 hours. Oh. Next time, eat ice cream after you have wings. Well, we had a lot of milk. Frank Gilman. A key with a ring that says Dr. John DeWitt. Oh. Did we already get to his room? Okay, we have John DeWitt's key, so that's good. We'll check that out. It was in the Call of Cthulhu stream 2 years ago. You said, we'll see the true world behind the cracks, and you played an ominous sound, and Chris said, we're going to wear that button out. Yeah, well, that's what we do here. We wear buttons out, apparently. Did we go this way? Got one eye on the chat, now I feel like... No, that's how we came in here. Oh, the doors are closing. That makes it more confusing. Okay, so that was the crew. This was the executive suites, but we didn't see John DeWitt's room. So maybe he's on a different floor. Should we figure this stupid fucking thing out? I'm sure I can brute force this stupid thing. Because it just has to go green, right? It's got some other stupid logic to it. Maybe just like warm up. Oh, that's a cool tattoo. Hey, Nick. Forget it. Let's move on. How's it going, Nick? I saw someone say something else, and but I missed it because I was trying to do that stupidness. But I think I read that Victoria, you said that you actually do have an ulcer. I kind of thought he was making like a, oh yeah, God gave my wife an ulcer joke. But if you do, that sucks. So I feel for you. Harlan, you probably missed it, so typing again. Match the white part on the puzzle with the red part. Okay, I'm gonna go back down and check it. I totally did miss that, by the way. Oh fuck, I really hope I don't have to do Morse code.
This is Upuat Expedition Base. Pequod, please come in. I repeat, this is Upuat Expedition Base. Pequod, do you hear me?
What's that flashy thingy? I'm great, Harlan. How are you? I am great. Mark, you're gonna be back in 20 minutes. Okay. Oh, you really did get an ulcer. Yeah, that maybe I misread that. I saw it skim past real quick, and I meant to reference it. We're gonna go read all that at some point. I found a secret. How? We found a secret, guys. Alright, I'm going back down because Bjorn said something about type what you already said, Bjorn, so I do the right thing. You said match the white with something or other. White. Okay, so there's white and red, is that what you're at? Oh, I see. Okay. So they're the same speed, I guess? So that looks like to be the size. Ah, you're smart. No? Okay. Now it's a bit thinner. A bit faster. Well, that looks like it's matched up. Now it looks... There we go. Perfect. Thank you, Bjorn. You're a smart man. Ooh, what the fuck is that? What the fuck? A robot?
Who are you?
I'm Frank. Frank Gilman.
Oh, we're Frank Gilman.
Is that so?
Is there a problem with that?
My name is Frank Gilman, an anthropologist joining this expedition upon the invitation by Venerable Dr. Faust himself.
This thing is claiming that it's me. That's absurd. Why?
This thing is claiming that it's me. How absurd.
Okay, Frank. Tell me, why are you here exactly?
I am here because of my extensive knowledge on the human pineal gland. I am one of the Conariums.
Conarionaut?
Conarionaut?
Voyagers beyond.
Beyond what?
Beyond? What beyond? No answer.
No answer.
You're claiming
Fuck
that
this
you
guy.
are me, Frank Gilman, but you are just a machine.
And you are just air.
Alright, how do we get out of here?
What do you know about Dr. Faust?
Oh, talk.
He is the grand mastermind and the pioneer of this expedition.
Air? What do you mean by that?
Alright guys, start figuring out other spooky games that we could play, because I'm not really feeling this one so far.
It doesn't answer me. Where is everybody?
They are here.
Oh my god. Shut
I
up.
don't see anybody around. Are you sure?
Yes.
Alright. I found a secret somehow. I don't even know how. So this is our office then. So we're Frank Gilman. Okay. I don't know how that was a secret, but... Okay, so then I guess we have the handle for that other area, right? There's nothing else here. This is where we came in. That's another one of those, but I can't access it. I can't access this. I think oh, this is outside, that's right. Fuck, we're late. Damn it. I'm fine at puzzles, but not while I'm streaming, because I'm like, my mind's thinking of other things. I'm trying to answer you guys and talk to you guys and stuff like that. Alright, other game suggestions. Let's start firing some out, because I'm not feeling this, and I'm thinking let's change it, because we've only been playing it for an hour. And, you know. Now, we checked all of this. Yes. Yeah, so then we gotta go to this area. Silent Hill. I don't know what the story is with Silent Hill. That on PC. If anyone wants to check the Steam store to see if it's there, I would look into it. If Silent Hill's creepy though, because I've heard a lot of people say it's creepy, and every time I've seen screenshots and stuff, I never really found it that creepy.
What was the need for such security measures?
Can I not use this?
Looks like I need something to get this elevator to work.
I kind of feel like that might work,
What
right?
was the need for such security measures?
Okay, there's something else I need down here though. Is it a battery or? Something over here? No. Horror of the Deep seemed a little interesting, but it's an early access. Narcosis seemed good too, but people says a narrow FOV, and I am not a fan of. No, this one even has a narrow FOV, and I'm not a fan of it. Lights? Oh. Oh. A cat. Hello, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Call of Cthulhu: Dark Corners of the Earth I've tried before. The graphics are pretty bad on it. And I wasn't that freaked out at all. I got sprayed with something. Get me out of here. Not good reviews on Silent Hill Homecoming. Okay. What's the plan here? Just standing around. Oh, it's this thing, that's right. Ooh! Weird cat. Uh-oh.
Who is this? It's impossible to determine with so much decomposition.
What do I feel like playing? Something good and scary. Finally finished excavating the non-lit. I don't know. I feel like something that, I don't know, just a good scary game. You guys know me, I prefer first-person games. Hopefully it's not like a massive game to download, but I don't know. I didn't really have any expectations for this. I think this key might be to one of those guys' rooms upstairs, by the way. But I mean, so far it just seems like a lot of running around. Dead by Daylight's 2 multiplayer. I am looking for. I'm thinking something story. Harry Potter. Oh fuck. You're the host. It doesn't do spooky for us. You matter. Dead by Daylight. I'm looking forward to Grim. Me too. Well, I don't know. Like, I hate, on one hand, I hate to not do a spooky game because it's the spooky stream, but on the other hand, this game doesn't particularly look spooky anyway. So I don't really feel like playing a non-spooky game is cheating necessarily, because this is not scary. So last time at the end of the stream, we ended up starting a game called What Remains of Edith Finch, and I gotta say I was like a huge fan of it. It is not spooky, but what would you guys think if I jumped to that? Oh, XCOM? Yeah, I could do XCOM. XCOM is a lot of mental power and reloading. I'm gonna be very patient to hit XCOM, because like that's part of the reason I kind of got burnt out from it, because it was like, you know, you can't just, with me, and you guys know, when it comes to games, it's like I like to turn on my brain, I like to relax, hang out, chat, whatever. With XCOM, it's like constant like reloading and reloading and reloading. And Zia says, what about Edith Finch? Well, I am totally down with that one if you guys are. and it seems like Zia's recommended it. Edith Finch is a really, or Finch, sorry, is a really, really weird game, and we only played like an hour of it, and Bjorn's down for it, and that's 3. So you know what? Let's just do that, because Edith Finch also, like, when I played it, I gotta say, when I went to bed that night, kind of like thinking about it. So I really, really enjoyed it. So let's jump to that, and I'll probably just end up cutting what I did last game and this game together and doing one Edith Finch playthrough, because again, I really enjoyed this game. It may be it's really short too, so there you go. What Remains of Edith Finch, Part 2, for the people who watched the Part 1. That's what it's going to be. I mean, I'll just cut them together into one long video. This is literally where we stop playing. Perfect. That's weird. There's no loading or anything like that. So for anyone who didn't catch the previous game, we only played maybe half an hour of it, maybe an hour at most. And we are a girl by the name of Edith Finch. And it started off, and we were somewhere. We were sitting on a boat, towards an island, and we were reading a journal. And she set the journal down, and she was talking about how she kind of recalls her family and the time she came back to her house. And this house that we're currently in is sort of like, it reminds me of the Weasley house from Harry Potter. And it's a house that almost every generation of the Finch family has lived in. So it's got rooms on top of rooms on top of rooms on top of rooms. And it's a story game. And basically they, the main character was talking about how the mother sealed the doorways because when people died, they didn't want to be going in there. And we're sort of filling out our family tree. And other than that, we don't really know, but we're experiencing sort of the lives of the people who lived in the house. So it might not be your cup of tea. It's sort of a passive game. It's something that, I gotta say, immediately kind of, it resonated with me for some weird reason. And it felt very, very, I don't know, emotional almost. So I'm very excited to be playing it. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hang around. We'll chat and hang out and all that kind of stuff. Okay. And this is Grandma's room, isn't it? Yeah, Edie. This is who we were named after. I think we just finished it. Oh, maybe not. Now I don't remember how it works. I think... Did we just... Oh. There's a secret in this bathroom by Sven and Edie.
There's a secret in this bathroom. It's in the last place you would look. It isn't in the cupboard. It's hidden in this book.
Oh fuck, that's so cool. Let me know if I need to turn up the volume a little bit. Hey, Joe! You showed up at the perfect time. I think you
Sven gave Sam an old camera he'd refurbished. He never put it down. I knew Grandpa Sam had a twin. And that he never talked about him. I guess my grandpa didn't like history any more than my mom did.
Is it loud enough for you guys? Let me know if I need to turn it up, because the soundtrack and the talking is really important in this game.
How I Want to Remember My Brother by Sam Finch. The thing I remember is that when he made up his mind, that was it. My brother said he'd die before he ate another mushroom, and he did. At Barber's funeral, he swore he'd never be afraid again, and he wasn't. I think Calvin always wanted to fly.
Sam! Calvin! Dinner's ready! Coming!
But that day, he finally made up his mind to do it. I told him going around was impossible.
Oh.
Maybe if I hadn't said that.
Calvin! I'm not gonna tell you again!
Maybe if the wind hadn't picked up. Then maybe he'd still be here. But I doubt it. I think he'd already made up his mind. That's what I want to remember about my brother.
Nice.
That's the day he made up his mind to fly. And he did.
Calvin's story felt strangely familiar. When I was younger, I remember trying to do the exact same thing.
I've never done that. I don't think I ever would. I'm just gonna turn up the game a bit. There. Try to go over the top? That's craziness. Calvin. That's so sad. He was 11.
After the funeral, Edie roped off Calvin's half of the room.
It's interesting though, this game deals like a lot with death, but it doesn't do it in a sad way, because that was sort of weirdly cute in a bizarre way. Although that's sad, the height chart. Sam's grown up.
Mom said Grandpa Sam enlisted at 18 and never set foot in the room again.
Oh. I love how the text shows you the way out. This game is sad. I don't know. I don't find it as sad, I guess. Like it's sort of sweet. This is good. This game's like a comfy book or something.
The passages were a pretty tight fit. They'd obviously been built for smaller hands and bellies.
Not going out yet. Or you. Milton.
Growing up, I always thought of Barbara as a child star.
Actually, you know what? Can I go back in? Only because a few people haven't got to see the house, and I'm enjoying this game immensely. So I'm going to go back and show you guys a bit of the house. So we arrived through the front door, and again, like I said, the our character is Edith, and named after the grandmother Edie. And as people died in the house, the mother, our mother, sealed them up. That's why there's all these caulking and like boards across all the doors. This is the kitchen? And I was saying last time, I kind of gush at this game because I think it just feels so rich with atmosphere and story. Kind of feels like a lived-in house, which obviously is what it's trying to communicate, but...
My mom was the only one of us who could imagine Great-Grandma Edie living in a nursing home.
Sounds like she didn't like her mom that much. This is the view, and because all the stories take place at the house, like, I'm pretty sure that tree that we were swinging on was probably one of the ones over there. Or that one even. But yeah. I don't think we could do the basement. And I've already opened this, but I'm going to open it again because I liked it. That's the house. And we sort of snuck into one of the rooms, and we've been working our way from room to room within the walls and the small passages and such. And so far we've only looked at a few rooms. The attic is locked. And I'm not sure how to access the journal. Oh, there it is. So we checked Molly. Calvin we just saw. Odin. Oh yeah, he was the shipman. And that's us, Edith. So we still have a fair amount to go. Barbara was the child star. Call the line. Barbara Finch. And other child stars. Terrifying idea for a story. 1960. Dreadful stories. It's sort of depressing. Happy birthday, kid.
Of all the stories people wrote about Barbara's death, I'm surprised Edie saved this one.
Oh, about her death.
Old Jack here with another ghastly tale inspired by America's most unfortunate family. I'm calling it The Surprise Ending of Barbara Finch.
Jesus.
As a child star, Barbara was famous for her scream. Now at 16, she was all washed up, a has-been. But in a lucky break, she'd been asked to perform her signature scream at a local convention for monster movie fans. It was just the boost her career needed. Unfortunately, her scream hadn't aged well.
Getting better. I think you just need the right motivation.
Her biggest fan and current boyfriend, Rick, was about to demonstrate when...
Now that was a great scream.
It was Barbara's father, Sven. He'd slipped into a table saw and had to be rushed to the emergency room.
Oh.
So Barbara got stuck babysitting her youngest brother, Walter. Her convention comeback was cancelled.
Okay, I'm hearing frustration, but I'm not hearing terror. What if I tried...
A gang of hoodlums in Halloween masks have been terrorizing Orcas Island tonight. Police are urging residents to...
That came from the basement.
You're right! Also, I loved your delivery on that. Why is your basement door locked?
Because my dad likes making puzzles and secret passages. There's a key hidden in the music box.
Oh.
The secret is to keep winding and winding until finally the key pops out.
Thanks, babe. I'll be back in a sec.
20 minutes later, Rick hadn't returned. So Barbara went to look for him, right on cue. She reached for the music box.
Oh, do I need to reach for it? No.
And as she wound the key, she listened for Rick, but the house was silent.
That's cool. Oh, I actually have to go downstairs. Cool.
She found Rick's crutch and imagined the worst.
Let's smash some stuff. It's not a cheesy comic book and they're making fun of it. Ants?
The gang's leader is the infamous Hookman killer, Dr. Carl Hamill, who impaled and then ate his family 10 years ago tonight.
The old fridge rattled and grew still.
Oh dear!
Oh!
Rick?
Barb, relax. I was just trying to scare you to help you find your scream.
Well, I'm not scared, Rick. I'm furious.
Then act furious. All I'm getting from you now is that you're hurt and confused and
She threw him out, but she kept a little something to remember him by.
Barb, have you seen my other crutch?
And she was still holding it when she fell asleep watching the late picture show. Hours later...
Barbara! Walter, what's going on up there? Ah! Okay, I'm coming up, but if this is a trick, you're dead, Walter.
Walter had vanished, but his bedside radio was still on.
Orcas Island police describe the man as 6 feet tall, with a steel hook for a hand. Residents are urged to lock all doors and windows and notify the police of any suspicious activity.
Barbara turned, saw the hookman, and was speechless. He was quite smashing.
Jesus.
And he was. He couldn't get enough of Barbara.
Okay, Barbara, there's gotta be another way out.
That night, she played her part beautifully. She thought about abandoning Walter, but just couldn't do it. Molly's door hadn't been opened in years. The hinges groaned. He wasn't moving, but she sensed the story might not be over yet. listened for his breathing, but all she heard was...
How is she gonna die? I feel like every time.
At the door, she heard whispering. It was coming from inside the house.
Oh dear.
You were wonderful. The monsters had come to surprise her. For Barbara, it was a dream come true. Then she saw what kind of monsters they were, and she realized what was about to happen. She was going to be famous. And with her final breath, Barbara Finch gave the performance of her life. I wasn't there myself, but I hear Barbara was magnificent. Poor girl. She had a taste for stardom. But unfortunately, so did her fans. Of course, the police blamed it all on poor Rick, who disappeared the same night. And little Walter, hiding under his bed the whole time. He took it all pretty hard.
I'm assuming once the story's done, Edith will clarify what actually happened.
As for Barbara, tucked inside the music box is all they ever found of her. Her ear.
Oh.
Now that's what I call a real eerie tale.
It's creepy.
Edie told me all Barbara wanted was to be remembered, as absurd as that comic was. Maybe what Edie saw was a happy ending.
Weird. Is that supposed to be real? I guess not, eh?
I guess now I know why Mom didn't like me playing with the music box.
Well, now we know where we're going. Key to the basement. Yeah, Tales from the Crypt Keeper, yeah, or Crypt. That comic book / TV show / movie. Makes me sad that they stopped living in this house. I would love to have a big house like this with all my family. Could you imagine that? Just everyone you know in your family living under one roof, different houses, different rooms built on top of rooms. It'd be something so cool. I mean, yeah, of course you'd be fighting and bashing things all the time. You'd also sort of be creating a community and a memory. And could you imagine being a little kid growing up in a house like that? Where you could just run upstairs and see your grandma or see your grandpa or your brother or your uncle or whatever the case. Something about that is so cool. You know, it's like Full House. I love Full House. Just because, yo, Full House is just such a sad show when you think about it, right? So here's a guy who has 2 daughters, you know, with his wife, and a third is just born, and then his wife dies, and he's now left with 3 girls, and his best friend in the world, Joey, moves in with him, and his brother-in-law, that's his dead wife's brother, moves in to take care of the kids. What a fucking terribly sad way.
Mom said the basement was off limits
to start a show.
Unless I wanted another tetanus shot.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. But I mean, you know, who pitches that? Okay, so this guy's wife dies, and, you know, three young girls need help from their father. If you ever watched the first season, it's cheesy as shit, but my god, it's sad. Like, there's a few good, like, lines from Uncle Jesse who, like, you know, wants to ditch, because every time he sees the daughters, it reminds him of his sister. And the little girls are like...
I saw Edie sneak down to the basement once, carrying packages.
little girls are like, you know, where's mom and all that kind of stuff, and he's like, well, she just reminds me of you. And
I thought maybe she was hiding presents.
It's just a sad show. Such a good show. I'm not even being facetious. I legitimately love it.
It turned out she was hiding a lot more than that.
Oh.
I remember asking Mom once about where Walter had gone. She said after Barbara died, he got as far away as he could.
Oh, cheers, Mike. Thanks for hanging out, bud. Oh, follow
If there's a pattern in all these stories, I think it's that none of us has gotten very far.
None of us has gotten very far. Come on. Walter. This was the brother. You forgot how close. It also makes family difficult to cool. No, I totally agree, and I'm not saying that you wouldn't have extreme difficulties, but I also think, I don't know, like it's just there's something nice about having a close-knit family, or well, even close-knit friends. And even if all my friends lived in a house, that would be fucking cool. I always joke about that, right? But it's tough because like if you had the people to commit to it. You know, if like Justin and Chris and his wife and Michael and my brother and like Joe, obviously, we're all living in a house together and like you know, layers upon layers, and yeah, of course you'd butt heads, but at the end of the day you love each other and you'd like work through it because you know that you have each other's back. One of my favorite movies is The Big Chill. We actually just watched it again today, and it's one of my favorite movies for multiple reasons, but one of them being that you have this close-knit group of people that just kind of are there for each other and talk.
Goodbye, everyone. I can't believe I've been down here for 30 years. On that first day, after the shaking started, I didn't think I'd survive a week. But after a few days, I settled into a routine.
Walter was the kid from the previous.
That's what kept me sane. Having a schedule, living for today. I always expected to be dead tomorrow. But if you wait long enough, you get used to anything. Even a monster on the other side of a door starts to feel normal. Almost friendly.
I love the way the text appears in this game too.
And then one day, everything just stopped. Whatever that thing was, it was gone. Maybe it got tired of waiting. Or maybe I just got tired of being afraid. It's been a week now, the longest in 30 years. I'm done waiting. I have to leave while I still can.
Walter, you crazy boy. I get your point. It just comes down to whether or not everyone's happy to be close to it. Hey, I totally agree. I totally agree that what I'm saying.
I know it's out there somewhere.
An idealized version, you know. But I also think
whatever killed Barbara.
Oh.
And Molly.
She turned into a cat. But
And Calvin.
I don't think we found out how. This is garbage.
Maybe this is all a mistake. But I need to stop living the same day, even if it kills me. Whatever's out there, I want you to know I'm ready for it. I'm going to appreciate all of it, especially the food.
Oh, right. Molly
I don't
got killed
mind
by
if I
the
only have a year
squid.
left. Or a month. Or a single week.
Wasn't Calvin the kid on the...
I'd be happy with one meal a day. I can already imagine the sun on my face.
Okay, if I try. So maybe it's just more about death rather than the same thing. It seems like Walter's sort of...
Walter died when I was 6.
Yeah.
I can't believe my mom never told me he was down here.
So, Molly died, something with a tentacle thing. Barbara died, we don't really know. Calvin broke his leg and then went swinging and broke and died by going into the water. Walter got hit by a train. Odin... I forget. He was the one that we saw through the
I'm sure my mom was trying to protect me.
through the thing, whatever it's called, with that spackling. No, the rotating disc.
Maybe she was afraid I'd end up like Walter. But if she never told me about an uncle under the house, I can only imagine what else she was hiding.
Does this mean that Edith is going to die at the end? I don't know. It's called What Remains
I don't want to
Edith
make
Finch.
the same mistakes she made.
Possible.
Trying to bury something that's still alive.
Well, I guess actually that makes sense. I was asked why the house was empty, but if everyone's dead...
Now that there's only one of us left.
Oh, there you go.
Or maybe 2. I thought it was time I heard the stories for myself. And found out what happened to everyone else.
So there's the story. That's what we need to do.
But now I'm worried the stories themselves might be the problem. Maybe we believed so much in a family curse, we made it real.
What the heck is that? It's like a red light. So the Finches believed in a family curse because they all kept dying sort of in mysterious ways. So yeah, it looks
I don't
like
know if I should even be writing this.
we're the last Finch. Or she said maybe 2, so maybe there is another one.
Maybe it'd be better if all this just died with me. But I thought you should know about your family.
Oh, is she pregnant?
And the history you're a part of.
I really want to know what that red light is.
Though to be honest, I feel as lost as you probably do right now. I think the people in these stories believed them, for what that's worth.
Maybe she's already a ghost. No, I don't think so.
And when you look at the house, That history of imagination and stubbornness and madness.
Soundtrack is lovely. The whole game is
Any of
lovely.
it seems possible.
I gotta say, just the everything about it, the aesthetic, the visuals, the sort of house that it all takes place on. It got me. I'm falling in love.
I think we've been surrounded by death for so long, we've just gotten used to it. What kind of family finishes building a cemetery before starting the house? It's embarrassing for me to admit this, but the pet cemetery made me more uncomfortable than the human one.
Christopher Shadow, Shatsy, Oliver Bob.
3 of the gerbils were mine, and 2 had been my fault.
Zerpy, Lurpy, Furpy, Chirpy, Burpy, Derpy Jr., Lucy, Daisy, Charlie, Tucker, Coco, Zoe. Doesn't start how it is.
Sven built the house, but it was Edie who designed the cemetery.
So these are our grandparents. Calvin was there, so this would be our uncle, I think. Was that the correct thing? Calvin was their son? No. Oh yeah, maybe. Molly was also their son? Walter. Oh god, now I'm all confused. Barbara. Was that their kids? That would make sense then. If these are the 4 kids, maybe that's the case. But then who was our mother?
I'm sure Odin's monument had been Edie's idea. My mom was always trying to move on, but for Edie, the past never went away.
Oh yeah, because the house sunk or something.
She could see it poking out of the water at low tide.
Oh, that's the house.
Edie said she dreamed about the old house every night.
Oh, you're right. The branch is connecting the book. Good call, Beer. Let's take a quick look-see. Okay, so Odin was the first. Edie and Sven, I'm assuming that's not really that clear, is it though? So Edie, okay, so Odin was Edie's brother or father, I guess. I'm not sure where this works in. But in any case, I'm assuming then these are their 4 kids. These are their 5 kids. These 4 died relatively young. He didn't. So Edith would be Dawn was our mother then? And Milton and Lewis were our brothers, and we know Milton was missing or something, or Lewis is missing. I don't remember. And then Gus and Gregory would be Dawn. So, but who? So Walter and Kay maybe had these 3 kids. It's not really that clear. Or am I an idiot? There's a dog down there.
Edie's side was always easier for me to understand.
Well, maybe they'll explain it right now.
But the older I get, the more I can see where my mom was coming from. Her dad had been pretty strict, but it wasn't enough to save her brothers. She was just trying to do better.
Odin was Edie's father, Sven was Edie's husband. Yeah, so, okay, so Odin was Edie's father, okay. The leaves represent the people added by marriage. Yeah, I figured that. I'm just confused. Like, was Walter and Kay, so I'm assuming that was the parents for Dawn, Gus, and Gregory. And Sven and Edie were the parents of Sam, Calvin, Barbara, Molly, and Walter. So they had 5 kids, they had 3 kids, and then Dawn and Sanjay, I'm assuming, had Lewis, Milton, and Edith. That's what I'm guessing. And then Sam, we just read. Okay, so Sam, okay, so these are the kids of Sven and Edie. Sam. No, Sam, Gus. That's 76. Who's Sam? Well, he was 83. So he was 33, so he had kids maybe? Oh, this must have been Dawn's parents then. Maybe that was Kay. Confused. Sam and Kay, it seems like. Okay. So then this was... Walter never married and never had kids. Makes sense. Okay. So Sam and Kay were the connector here. Okay, so Sam and Kay had Dawn, Gus, and Gregory. But the thing I didn't get is she called her Grandma Edie, but it would be her great Grandma Edie, would it not? Because her mother's father sounds like Sam. Sam is buried with her sons. We'll figure it all out after.
She lost 2 of her brothers, just like I did. I get why she tried so hard to protect us.
Okay, so she lost 2 brothers. So they're her brothers. Now this is our brothers.
We never found Milton's body, so my mom insisted we were putting up a monument, not a tombstone. There's so many things I wish I could ask my mom now. Part of me thinks this is what she wanted all along. For me to come back someday and find everything out for myself. But looking back on it now, if she told me there was going to be so much climbing, I never would have come when I was 22 weeks pregnant.
Ah, she's pregnant. I thought so. I was going to say, that's a sweet little thing. But when was she born? This is relatively... 99. Well, yeah, I guess it's 16 or something, 17? It's crazy to think that people born in 99 are now... Oh, God. I'm so old. I think she referred to Edie as great-grandma when she was looking at the nursing home. Okay, fair enough. I must have misunderstood. My niece and nephew never referred to my grandparents as great-grandma. At least very rarely. True.
I never met Grandpa Sam, but I think he and my mom had a lot in common.
Okay, Grandpa Sam. Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. Imagine having this porch. So cool. Right on the edge of the woods, your whole family inside. You know, game nights. God.
They were both pretty intense.
Wow. U.S. Marines.
Sam spent his life shooting photos, but Mom said he got nervous being in front of the camera. I guess we're all afraid of something.
I love that guitar soundtrack.
Instead of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Okay is a female name here. Usually short for like Kayla or Caitlin or I don't know. So K Finch airline ticket. Sparrow Airlines. God, Sparrow's come up a lot the last few weeks. I blame Joe. Alright, Sammy, let's hear your story. Conarium kind of was not my cup of tea. And hey, Aisha.
Dawn, I promise, you'll never forget this weekend.
Yes, sir.
These memories are gonna last a lifetime.
Hmm?
So that's our mother, Dawn.
Perfect.
Am I gonna have to shoot anything? It's gonna rain the whole weekend, isn't it? I will never forget this weekend, Dad.
That's the spirit. Okay, got it.
I'm gonna take some pictures, okay?
Just be careful. That camera's older than you are. Definitely should not have drunk all that coffee. Hey!
That's a keeper.
I'm just saying, I'm not always gonna be here, Don. You'll need to remember this stuff, if you want to survive.
I'll be fine, Dad.
You know who else thought he was gonna be fine?
Some guy who died.
Don, I'm being serious.
I know, Dad. You're always serious. Doesn't being out here make you want to chill out?
Well, to tell you the truth, I haven't been out here in 20 years. Don, don't you think you could find something more interesting to photograph?
No, man. I hate when people go on vacation. They take a million pictures of scenery.
Last time I was with my brother Calvin.
I want people.
Man, that was a great trip.
Oh, Sam and Calvin, right.
Your grandpa Sven taught us how to fish.
He was a twin.
How to build a fire. We found an old logging trail. There were deer everywhere. I bet if I could remember where that trail was, we'd spot a buck for you in no time. Give me a minute to check the map.
Dad!
Good eyes, Don. Before you take the shot, let me get a picture of you.
Dad, I...
Let me get behind you.
Do I have to do this?
Don, you don't have to do anything. But if you want to survive, you need to be strong. Great shot, Don! I'm proud of you, Dawn. Always remember that, okay?
Take care, man.
Sorry, Don. Just gotta reset the timer.
Dad, it's twitching. I think
That's
it's
totally normal, Don. Just focus on the camera. Try not to think about...
Dad!
Holy shit, why would you keep that?
Of all these stories, that's the one I wish most that my mom had told me.
So Sam and Calvin were twins. Calvin died from trying to go over the top and he flew off. And Sam fucking got punted off a cliff by a deer. My god. It's sad, man. Oops. I mean, you sort of forced her into it, but...
After Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
Is your mom part of the family, or? Yeah, okay. And Edie was too, so Dawn and Edie. But it seemed like her mom didn't really agree with Edie, because she was saying how she locked all the doors or something. Gregory, Dawn, and Gus. Gregory, Dawn, and Gus. Sam. We'll save Gregory. So these are Sam and Kay's children. And Dawn is our mother. Okay, I'm starting to get this.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Gus looks like a little shit. Look at this. Anarchist. Raised flag, 7:30, breakfast time 8, quiet time 11 p.m. Duties, Dawn, sleep, trash, Gus, mop, mow lawn. Greg, be a baby. That should be Henry's rules. Henry, be a baby. Oh, good night, Joe. Routine, jump rope, 100, jumping jacks, 150, push-ups, 100, crunches, 100, rotate. God. I want a rock wall, too. Oh, no, I don't want to climb it.
My mom moved up to the loft after her brothers died.
Let's watch these first. I want to find out how they died.
At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
That was sad. 11-year-old kid jumps from a cliff. Didn't do it for you, but that one did. No, the 11-year-old kid did too, but I don't know. It's the father in me, I suppose. Oh, they divorced. Sam and Kay.
Dear Kay, do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but
he died
only he
in
could
a
see it.
year. Oh my god. This is gonna kill me.
I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
When I move it, the music starts. Oh, shit.
Watching's over, Gregory. It's time to... Hold on, sweetie. Hello? Sam, I told you I don't want to talk right now.
I wonder what he saw. What his world was like. He reminded me so much of Calvin. Lost in his imagination. Whatever it was he saw. It sure made him happy. I know how sickly it sounds. That I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Damn it. Hold on, I don't want Gregory to hear this.
Please let this be negligence.
wish he could have told us about the world he saw. There's so much I don't understand about Gregory, about everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. And he'd want you to be happy too.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Good luck, Kay. Love, Sam.
Oh my god. Give me a break, man. I'm never gonna fucking take Henry for that. No. Oh man. No, too close to home. Fuck, I hate that. Alright. That's life, man. That's what we do. Let's press on.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart. I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife.
I'm gonna hug Henry so tight. He's sleeping with us tonight. Molly died early, but I have a baby. And he's a boy. And it's Henry. I'm not gonna do that.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger. The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. Rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said was, "Make the music louder." I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam. But I didn't, until we found you.
Is he electrocuted, I guess?
She never talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
No, Gregory? Oh. It's not I don't know, it's I guess it's sweet, but it's also sort of morbid to have like the kite that he died on there. Wish sympathy, deepest sympathies. Or maybe not, I guess maybe the family's akin to death. Oh man. But I guess because the wife's not on here, the new wife, so maybe they didn't kind of go through. Yeah, I'm not sure how he dies. It obviously was something to do with the kite, wind, and maybe a tornado or something. This is Mom's room.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Oh, that's cute. '87. Copy passports, meet with relief for a pack, fly to India. Dawn Finch. 10 ways to teach critical thinking.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
Here's the missing flyer. So, who is it for? Milton. So Milton is the one that's missing.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back. And to see kids in the house again. The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
Analyze objectively. Never stop learning, assume nothing, respect criticism, ask tough questions. Reading is a hoot. This is the coolest classroom in the world.
But it didn't last.
That's baby us. Oh, she wrote a book.
The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
This is the middle brother, the one that's that one missing, right? So that means Lewis is dead. I believe that's my recollection. Well, all the flyers say Milton is missing. So yeah, he must have been missing. That reminds me of another game. Actually, this reminds me a lot of a game called The Unfinished Swan. Someone do me a favor, just Google The Unfinished Swan and Google whoever made this game, because that looks identical to a scene. I even remember that broken pathway. And I remember these statuettes, and I remember that. Yeah, I remember that pig. This is 1000% a scene in The Unfinished Swan. I would be not surprised at all if they made that game as well. But someone just check, because I'm curious. And the ink on this room seems familiar. Because yeah, it's all about throwing ink in the Unfinished Swan. And there's a forest like that. There's a kingdom like that. This is Giant Sparrow. Did Giant Sparrow do the Unfinished Swan?
Milton Finch in The Magic Paintbrush.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, so yeah, it is the right color. I figured. If you haven't played The Unfinished Swan, I highly recommend it. It's a really cool game. It doesn't have a very good story, but the gameplay is... Well, I mean, the story's okay.
I was 4 when Milton disappeared.
I was just about to say, where did he go? I want to know why he disappeared and how.
Mom spent months searching for my brother. Then she sealed the doors. Whatever Milton had found in the house, Mom didn't want it getting out.
She's pregnant, but she's... Well, she was born in 99, and assuming this is 2017, she's almost 20. I would say she sounds 12. This does not look like good construction.
Mom definitely blamed Edie, but I think Lewis blamed himself.
I missed that. Did they say why? Mom blamed Edie, but Lewis blamed himself. I missed what that was in reference to. Milton might be the
After he graduated, he just spent more and more time in his room. Until Mom got him a job at the cannery. Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on. Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
This would be my room.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Nice. Computer gamer like myself. Oliver Twist. The Red King's Dream. Through the Looking Glass. They don't look like books. They're movies. Dawn Poetry Recital. Lots of weed. Marijuana. What a goofball.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander.
Oh. Controlling the fish with my eyes. And doing the other with WSD.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Louis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians. And songs for them to play.
So confusing.
He talked about starting a band. And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination, so he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Louis kept sailing on. In Louisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
The option. Be gay.
The queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows.
Straight. Serpents.
He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him. Began to forget the world we know. I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal contempt. I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions. Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. His queen waited, holding his crown. There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. And rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Mom's left. And Edie, I guess. But there's no image for it. Or maybe Edie, yeah. You were saying you despise walking simulators normally. And I totally agree. But this one, not just the sequences, but to me it is the story and the atmosphere. Not just the visuals, but the atmosphere. I think it's so important.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left. My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
Yeah, it's a hereditary disease of some sort, I'm sure.
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you. there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. For a while, I wandered. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it, but she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you. And tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
That was a fucking good game. Man. Don't you cliffhanger me. We're not amused. What do you mean? That wasn't a cliffhanger. She died. What are you guys disappointed about? I'm confused. What killed her? Oh, who cares? Could die during childbirth. I'm guessing it's just like based on the, like, I guess the whole Finch history, the fact that people, you know, die, that she kind of wrote it, whatever the case be. What did the rest of the book from the great grandma say? Oh, that's what you're curious about. I hear you. I don't know. But I don't feel like, I don't feel cheated by lack of explanation for some reason. I guess it's because the atmosphere was so rich that I wasn't necessarily hinging on that, you know what I mean? It's sort of like those really long-winded jokes that don't have a great punchline, but the humor is actually in the way you tell it rather than the punchline, you know? That's kind of how I guess I view this, so I kind of like that, but obviously you guys don't. That's totally fun. I don't know. I mean, you know, was there a curse? Was it some sort of family disease? I mean, no, because a lot of what they kind of went through, I mean, obviously, yeah, the cannery son had something, but I mean, the kid who broke his leg, you know, he just fell off the thing. The dad, you know, and Edith, she lasted till she was 90 plus. You know, Barbara Finch, she was murdered or something. So I don't think it's necessarily a disease of any sort. But maybe Edith had something within her. That's a weird looking baby. What I would guess is that when Edith was born, because the grandmother said when she was born the tide was low and she went to the house, there was a light on and she has to tell you something. What I would bet is that Edith was born with some sort of, I don't know, rare disease or hereditary disease or something like that, and that the mother decided not to tell her so that she could live her life to the fullest. And you hear about that the parents and kids are diagnosed with something that could be terminal, and they just don't tell them because they want them to live a great life. And then obviously Edith got pregnant, maybe found out later on, and decided to record the history so that it could be the case. So I legit think after the car scene she really did see the Unreal Engine text. Oh. I agree to disagree, because the game left me feeling like I never got to the end of this every story. Everyone feels unfinished to the OCD brain. It makes me irrationally annoyed. Fair enough. I guess I would argue that life doesn't work, you know, the way that things like that, like not everything has a finish. And I guess that's what this game is sort of trying to emulate. You know, it's trying to express in its own way the fact that you don't get to know everything. The replay a story option is now available. Select Edith to play from the beginning. So you can just individually play, I guess, the stories. Well, let's see. The only thing I'd be curious about is if there was a way, if there were like things that you could find out that we didn't, for whatever reason. Causes of death list. Eddie, I'm assuming it's Edie, old age. Dawn, died of illness. Edith, childbirth. Soon, but honestly, a very solid assumption. Gregory during the bathtub. Molly, food poisoning from the gerbil food, toothpaste, berries. Yeah, which could be the case. Barber killed by an angry mob. I don't know that one. I don't necessarily believe that. Interesting. I thoroughly enjoyed that. That's probably one of my favorite games of all time. The world felt like authentic, but also, and I said it last time, and I know it sounds a bit pretentious, but again, this game made me feel nostalgic for something I never had. You know, like I never lived in a house with all these people, but I felt nostalgic for it going back into it the first time. And to me, that's something very rare that a game can do and communicate well, that you sort of long for this world, even though it was depressing to an extent. And I'm okay with sort of downer endings, I think, because I think the whole message of the ending was to be grateful for the time you have, you know, like literally I think her last line was, you know, but don't see this as a negative, see every aspect for how beautiful and lucky we are to be here. And I think that shines a light on death. And I think this actually, I think maybe the reason I enjoyed this is it sort of coincides with my view on death, you know. Everybody fears death, but I don't see it as like, you know, it doesn't consume my every waking thought. Rather, more so, you know, I want to experience everything I can while I'm alive and just make the best life possible. And I think a lot of people think like that, and some people are overwhelmed by the thought of death. But I think this kind of coincides with my thought, sort of appreciative of the time you have and so on and so forth. And we kind of knew she was dying too, because it's called. It's interesting. It's interesting. I don't really like the open endings, or the player can decide how it ended. It just seems lazy to me, like they couldn't be bothered to make it right. Not saying this will happen here, but in other games. There are open endings that become lazy, and there are open endings that I think encourage discussion and thought and making you think. I don't think this is a lazy ending, because I don't feel that the cause of death was like the point of what the story was, you know what I mean? I don't think it was necessary to conclude what the point was. I think Edith was trying to make a story for her unborn child so that they could kind of understand it to a sense. I logically know that that's an unproductive way to feel emotions but can't contain so simply. Just speaking matter-of-factly. No, for sure. Hey, look, to each their own. I absolutely understand where you're coming from. There are games that people, you know, whatever, and they'll be totally fine with it, and I'll be frustrated. But nonetheless, this was a fantastic game. I am very happy we got to play it. I'm happy you guys let me stream it, even though it was, you know, not a lot of talking, but you know, you don't always need that. Thanks for hanging out, guys. This wasn't much of a spooky stream, I apologize, but I mean, parts of it were spooky, I guess. I'm gonna go hug my son. Put him right next to me in bed tonight. Snuggle him, hold his little hand. He wraps his tiny little fingers around my finger. And, yeah. And contemplate life. No, this is a fantastic game. Thanks, guys, so much for hanging out tonight. This is always a blast. And the next spooky stream probably won't be for a while, only because don't have a game that I'm like itching to play. There are a few that are coming out, Visage or Visage or however you say it, and a few others that are along that same vein are going to be coming out shortly. And once those come up, we'll do a spooky stream, a really good one. But there's no sense of doing spooky streams if the games are kind of lame and nothing really has caught my attention. So that's the case. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. You're welcome, Rin. Thank you, Zia. April, Bjorn. The only bad thing you can say is that the game is over. Absolutely. Hug the baby, I will. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Victoria. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. You guys have a fantastic night. We will see you Wednesday for Grimm. And as always, we will see you around the table. Good night, guys.